All right, guys, how's everyone doing today? Hope everyone's doing great, keeping like cool out there in the heat. So before we get started, I wanted to introduce everyone that will be speaking. We also have Melvin Hines here with us as well. I wanted to say a few words to our partner, so I will let him kick it off, and then we will introduce ourselves.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is Melvin. I just wanted to really quickly just thank all of you all for attending. We're always excited to be able to uh, interact with our college partners, and we're certainly excited to be able to have you guys here today. This is I think, our fourth Upswing Innovation Summit that we've been able to do, and so over the years, we've been able to see the group get larger and larger, and the innovations that have come out of this get better and better. You guys are in great hands with the people who are speaking here today, so I'll go ahead and turn it to them and let them kick it off. But thank you guys once again.
Cool. Thank you, Melvin. So to kick it off, speaking is Victoria Alonso. I manage the Hero team as well as I am part of the Hero team myself. So for those that know me, hello, and for those that don't, hello again.
I'm Kelly. I'm one of the senior heroes, and I'm also the product specialist. So I deal a lot with the product and tech teams, making sure that things you guys need from a technical and product standpoint are taken care of, as well as having some of my own schools that I get to talk with on a monthly, daily basis.
Hi, Alicia Bergeron. I am the newest hero. So this is the first time I'm participating in one of these conference calls. So I'm excited to get to share with you the portion of the conference that I'll be covering.
Hey y'all, I'm Naomi Fernando. I'm the engagement manager at Upswing. We're a newly formed team and newly a part of this webinar. So I'm really excited to get to talk to y'all about what we're working on and just seeing if y'all have any questions for us.
Cool. Thank you, ladies. All righty, so let's get started. So as you guys know, we sent out the agenda. The first thing that we will talk about is we will go over kind of the Upswing direction. We'll give you guys some data insights. We will go over the survey feedback that we sent out. Naomi will partake as well and go over what her team does in the engagement side. Then we'll have Kelly come in talking about product. And then something that is very new that we're very excited about is we have our partners on as well that will speak to us and you guys. So please, I hope you guys brought your questions for them and for us. So, all right, let's go ahead and kick it off. So I wanted to tell our Upswing partners about how Upswing was born and where we came from, especially for the new partners that we have on board. And I'm sure it's a great reminder, or maybe some of our older partners might not even know. So to start it off, Melvin, our CEO, he had a friend who wanted to start a company out in India that involved bringing technology to the classroom, but more for K through 12. Melvin actually had the idea to do it here in the US, but he wanted to do a little bit different than his friend. So he pitched the idea to our COO, Alex Pritchett. Alex had the background that he was looking for, so it was something that Melvin knew that Alex and him could really get off the ground. So that's exactly what they did. They hit the ground running, and they started to work with the Durham High School system to provide tutoring. They got introduced to the CFO out in North Carolina for the North Carolina system, and he mentioned that community colleges would definitely benefit from this resource. So again, they hit the ground running, and they went through North Carolina to see how it would play out. Really, what they were expecting, they really weren't expecting too much, but the best part is a lot came out from it. So I'm going to go ahead and click to this next slide. They were accepted into a tech accelerator in Dallas with having only 2 partners with Upswing, which were based in North Carolina. They really wanted to figure out how to make the product better and be more impactful for colleges across the world. So they packed their bags up, moved over to Texas. They were in Texas for about 3 months, and they decided to keep the business here in Texas, and that is where we are now in Austin, Texas. From words from Alex Pritchett, our COO, he said that Texas was great for growing an education company. And obviously, if you guys know anything about tech, the Austin is definitely where a lot of tech people are. So once that happened, with only 2 partners, Upswing really just started off as 24/7 tutoring with only 40 subjects. Pretty crazy. And I know right now a lot of our partners, you guys might see us at 24/7 only tutoring, but as we are growing, we're becoming more of a retention company. They went to go visit one of our partners, our very first partner, Central Carolina. They walked in the room, and the person that they were meeting had a thick binder full of papers. She told Alex and Melvin, "We definitely have time to meet, but we'll just be really busy for the next couple of days. So we have to transcribe these papers over to an Excel sheet." And I want to make sure everyone can see the screen.
Are y'all able to see the presentation okay?
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, before I got into it, I want to make sure we could see that screen. But yes, so they went, they had the meeting, and actually, as I said, she's like, we have to get all these sessions into an Excel sheet. And so Alex kind of was, okay, well, if that's something that you had to do, Alex and Melvin started to talk, and they were really wondering if they would be able to make that automated for them. What would that do? What would that change? She mentioned that it would actually change quite a bit. So that's when they started to hit the ground running again, and that's where Tutor Up was born. As you guys can see on the screen here, where the previous one, it was just the 40 subjects, they type it in, and that was it. And as we continue to grow, we ask you guys how we can grow, how we can make it better. And this is where we're able to do that. You can see here, this is what the dashboard looks like now. We moved on to the single sign-on portion of things. The admin dashboard was created, and then we also had the VLC. Kelly will get a little bit more in depth with the product, but just to guys give you kind of a short timeline of what happened and how Upswing came about. All right, so go ahead and click this slide here. Make sure everyone can see. Give me 1 second. Right here. Okay, we just want to make sure everyone can see everything. Okay, all right. And to backtrack a little bit, before getting into 2017, 2018, at the accelerator, they also met our CTO, Chris Webb. He is the guy behind all the madness where, if you guys come in and want to start an integration, he's that one staying up all night trying to make sure we get it done in a timely manner. So they knew at that accelerator that Chris could really help the company and really start it off, and that's where he moved as well over to Austin. Come to 2017, 2018, a lot of people had their eyes on Upswing. To be exact, these are the people that believe in Upswing. We have Rethink Education, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Lumina Foundation, and the Stanford Graduate School of Business. These are the people that recently helped Upswing out. They came in, they said, hey, we believe in your vision. And one of the number one things, reason why, is because our focus is on student engagement. How can we retain students? How can we help the colleges and get those students to stay in school? So I'm actually going to show you something called Anna. And Anna is one of our newest products. This is the sole reason why the Bill and Gates Foundation funded for Upswing. Anna is bringing a virtual experience to the students. We understand and we know that we have to make sure we have to get the message across to the students as easy as possible and something that they're receptive of. So we brought Anna on board. Justin, which if you guys have Anna, you guys talked to Justin before, but he is the man behind Anna. He's the reason why students will be able to get text messages, whether that's FAFSA, whether that's an assignment, whether that's a date that comes up that you guys need for students to know. They will instantly get a text message and they will be able to text Anna back. That is the biggest thing that we've heard from our partners that have Anna, that the students are able to actually interact with Anna, this virtual assistant. So just to give you guys a view of what she can do, I have a view here of the FAFSA notifications. You see any returning assignments. So if there was a paper that was to be submitted, you could actually send it out to Miss Anna here, and she'd be able to get that submitted for you, or even setting up a tutoring session as well. Deadline reminders as well. Typically, the deadline reminders are along the lines for the FAFSA or for turning in a paper, or if they need to make sure that they fill out, proper paperwork when school's able to start. So, any questions on our story, Anna, funding at all? Alrighty. So I wanted to get a little in depth about data insights. What's happening? What's going on? And how is Upswing growing? Why are they growing? So I'm going to go ahead. There you go. Click that other slide there. So this is from one of our schools, Durham Tech. To give you guys a little bit of background about Durham Tech, they're actually one of our launch partnerships, and we work with them, especially with their diversity in their school. So they were really interested in wanting to know what's going on in their school with the diversity side of things. So we have the age and the ethnicity here as this right on the slide. And this slide is telling us from the 26% you see in red, which is typically that's one race, and the age is another race as well. Let me go ahead and click to the next slide. The next slide is going to show their grades. So in this chart, you see that Durham Tech students that use Upswing, they have more A's and fewer C's. They're also about 40% less likely to fail and 40% less likely to withdraw. These jumps really overall, letter and grades translate to higher GPAs. In the chart on the right, the statistical significance can see, especially when we control for demographic information like race. Black students experience a 0.45 point jump in their GPA. Asian students experience a 0.44 point in jump. We have the Caucasian students as well that experience a 0.40 jump. And then we have the Hispanic population that experience about 0.24 jump. So as you guys can see, and I'm sure you guys are wondering, how are we getting this information? What's going on? Obviously, Durham Tech, they allowed us to have their grade information. And we had our data scientist, Chris Cacciatore, come in. And he's the man behind the madness of deciphering all of the data. So go ahead and click the next slide. So as you guys see here, this is something that Catch made for us here. So right now at Upswing, the total enrollment with all the partners that we have is about 600,000. Logged into Upswing, 107,000. Submitted a paper or completed a session, 35,000. And we've retained and helped colleges across the world with about 7,500 schools or students. Now, in my mind, I say, how can we increase these numbers? And that is where our partners will come in. That is where we need you guys to come in. The only way that we're going to be able to increase these numbers is if you guys are allowing us to see the enrollment data, the demographic data, and grade data. Once we get that information, we will be able to tell you guys exactly what's happening versus Upswing users versus the non-Upswing users. Is Upswing really being effective? And we can give you guys references to the partners that we've done these data insights with, and they will tell you 100% of the time that Upswing has and definitely improved throughout the grades and the GPAs. Now, before I pass it along here, just want to make sure, any other questions? There's one more slide on the data side of things. Okay, so we also wanted to show you all the product usage breakdown. So this gives you Tutor Up, which means you're bringing your tutors on the platform. This gives you the synchronous side, which means the students are asking for a session with our tutors. And then it also has the Ask Up portion, which students are submitting a paper to Upswing tutors. And as you guys can blatantly see, from 2016 to 2017, they were pretty much along the lines, hand in hand right there. But as the years grew, it's just over a couple of semesters, between 2017 2018, you see a way higher jump in Tutor Up, which is the blue, and you also see another high jump in the Ask Up portion, which is paper submissions with our Upswing tutors. Of course, you know, we still have the synchronous sessions. Naomi will get a little bit in depth with that, and Alicia will touch on it as well with the numbers. But you guys see that more and more of our partners are looking towards us as more of a retention company, not just using Upswing partners. So Alicia here, she's going to go over the positives and where we can see the opportunity for growth with our surveys. We have a question here from Lynn. Is this based on using your coaches? Yes, this data is based on using our coaches from the previous year to the current school year. How many students are you serving? So right now the enrollment is about 600,000 on the green slide that I showed previously. And then how many tutors are we using? We have about a range of 100 plus tutors.
It's around 200 plus, depending on the fluctuation of summertime and the fall, and we'll definitely do recruiting, and I'll talk about that later.
And Carol, yes, these slides will be available. We will send out an email with these slides and a recording of this as well.
Great questions, everyone.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Anything else?
All righty. Miss Alicia, take it away.
All right. Well, thank you, Victoria. Everyone, as Victoria mentioned, I'll be reviewing the feedback that we received from the survey that was sent out a few weeks ago. For those who participated, thank you so much. It really lets us know where we're excelling and gives us some direction as to changes we can make to improve our system. We were happy to see that the overall feedback was really positive. For the sake of this presentation, though, I'm going to focus on the student satisfaction component of that survey, which was also, for the most part, very positive. You can see from the graph included on the slide that about 81% of students were very to moderately satisfied with Upswing, but you did give us some great feedback on how we can still improve. Can we click on the next slide? One way that we can improve, and we've heard you and we're working on it, is by updating the whiteboard. So some feedback that we heard was that it could be more user-friendly, a little smoother, a bit faster. We heard you, and we are actually diligently working to release a new VLC by fall. So Kelly will go into that in a bit more detail later on in the presentation, but you can expect a much more improved whiteboard experience for your students and your tutors at your school. Do you mind clicking on the next slide? Also, we've heard you that there is a need for more immediate sessions, where we are certainly trying to improve that number of immediate sessions for you, but I wanted to show you that those sessions are actually currently happening as well. So I'm sorry if the graph is a little blurry for you, but what you're seeing here is the number of total sessions that occurred with Upswing tutors. The blue that you're seeing is where there were immediate sessions, the orange where it was scheduled sessions. So you can see it was about 53% of the sessions scheduled with Upswing tutors were immediate sessions. We are also seeing a huge increase, as Victoria mentioned, in the amount of Ask Up submissions. We anticipated that large increase, so our engagement team diligently worked to train and hire tutors to help with those writing submissions so that we're still maintaining the 24 to 48 hour turnaround time that we guaranteed you. Additionally, we continue to add tutors to increase the number of available sessions. Most recently, the engagement team was focused on hiring tutors for those more advanced courses, specifically nursing and MBA focused courses. And then finally, just one thing to keep in mind is that as you guys are hearing more tutoring requests for specific subjects, please let your heroes know, especially if you feel that there's too little tutors or no tutoring available. With the help of Naomi and the engagement team, we can put a call out to try to hire for those positions. And while it might not be an overnight thing, we can certainly, we certainly want to be sure that we are providing the service that our partners need. So give us a little time and we can certainly work with you to get that availability. Are there any questions?
I wanted to point out really quickly, Robin did have a question while Alicia was speaking. She asked, where do we usually get the permission from this for the data for the schools? And Kelly did answer back. And as you guys can see, she said, usually our admins discuss this idea with their VPAA or another dean who may have some influence to be able to request and sign off on the data. And then we had another question from Miss Crystal. Has this taken place of a physical tutoring center on campus anywhere that Upswing is used? So our goal is really to work in tandem with on-campus resources, not to replace it. It's really to give students more of a resource. Any other questions?
Well, thank you guys for the feedback on the survey and for listening to the review. I'm going to turn it over to Naomi, who is going to talk a little more about engagement.
Thanks, Alicia. Hey, everyone. Again, my name is Naomi, and I'm the engagement manager at Upswing. I just wanted to take some time to introduce my team and what we do here kind of on a daily basis at Upswing. So there's a picture of my team here on the slide on the left. We're always about putting a name to a face on the engagement team. So I'm there in the center. Missy Berlin is our tutor coordinator. She assists. She's on my left. She assists with managing our Upswing tutors. Is on my right, and he's our student engagement coordinator. So that's kind of like the two major things that we use. Oh, sorry, y'all. Moving the computer closer so I can be a little bit more clear. All right. So on kind of a daily basis, we have two major focuses, which are the management of our Upswing coaches and then reaching out to our students. And so I really wanted to touch on both of those things. And I wanted to start by saying that as the engagement team, we work really closely with our heroes. So we meet pretty much weekly to discuss what the needs are of our partners in terms of doing outreach to students, and then also what the coaching needs are if it's a school that has our Upswing coaches. So just as the coach manager, I get a lot of questions about how we hire our coaches, how we know that they're the best that we can possibly find. So I wanted to kind of go over our coach hiring process and then talk a little bit more about how we reach out to students. So I'll start with our coach management. And really what we like to do is to do targeted recruitment. We do have a base of tutors that do kind of the general subjects, but as we're growing, we hear from our heroes if there's a need for more tutors in a certain subject. So we'll do really targeted recruitment. And then there's a vetting process. So our application, we have pretty high standards. We need about a 3.5 GPA. We need a bachelor's degree. If it is an undergrad, we really need that undergrad to be working in a learning center so that they're being trained in tutoring methodology. And we do a face-to-face Skype interview with everyone that applies. So we really want to know if this person can interact with us in a virtual environment and see if they can build rapport, because we know a lot of students are coming in feeling intimidated by a virtual environment or maybe just going to tutoring at all. And then on a weekly basis, we will go through our sessions and see that our quality is being upheld. And, you know, as always with humans, there are errors that come in, there are rules that are broken, and we do have a remediation process where we will talk to the coach and have them, we'll actually do a minimum of a 1-week suspension from taking on sessions or doing paper reviews, and they will write to us about how they can adjust their technique based on our methodology. And we have a coach resource center that all of our coaches have access to that goes into methodology, and we also have some workshops on there as well. So that's kind of in a nutshell, coach management. And if there are any questions about that, I'm really happy to answer them. You can go ahead and type that into the chat. For our student engagement side, that's been kind of a new focus for us as we formed in the past 2 months or so. So what we have been doing and what we will continue to do is work with admins to send out emails to students to get marketing materials. And our emails are really trying to assist that login, getting students onto the platform. And we do find that once they're on, they do stay engaged, but we want to make sure that they are figuring it out. And what we're going to be kind of strategizing on this summer is how can we expand the reach? How can we do more than just emails? How can we get to know your students and really assist that login? And then we have a campus ambassador program. We have 2 versions of this. The first one is sending marketing materials over in a booklet for 2 ambassadors. Maybe that's students or people that work in the tutoring or learning center. And that's for them to table and kind of get that engagement up at their school. And we'll be newly launching an internship program where we'll select up to 5 students per school that will actually participate in a semester-long internship program with us, where they kind of learn, they'll do a little bit of professional development, we'll teach them marketing strategies, and they'll go out and do that in your school to garner engagement with Upswing. All right, so that is kind of what we do in a nutshell. I see some questions, so I'm going to start answering. So I see from Robin that if there's a problem with a coach, do we take it to your hero? Yes, definitely contact your hero. Again, we talk on a daily basis, so if that comes up, the hero will tell me and we will figure it out with the coach. Another question from Crystal is, what can we do to help our faculty promote Upswing to their students? There are a couple of things. I know that a lot of schools that use Canvas can promote that link or actually put one of our flyers on Canvas. And we have a lot of faculty and professors put the link on their syllabi or state in their class. And with certain services like our Ask Up, our paper review, we'll actually have faculty require a student to get their paper reviewed and then submit their reviewed paper by their Upswing coach with their final draft. And if there are other things that we can do, I would love to kind of hear what other schools do as well and see if we can expand on that. Hi, Carol. Yes, so for the internship opportunity, we're still kind of developing that, and we're going to pilot it out with just a couple of schools. If you're interested, let your hero know, and I will get in touch with you about it. All right, are there any other questions? All right, so I'm going to go ahead. Oh, wait.
Yes, Derek, put the flyer on Canvas. I can email you what that looks like from what a previous school's done.
And there's a question about faculty communicating with Upswing.
Hey, Carol, this is Kelly. Yeah, so faculty are welcome to talk with the heroes. The heroes are pretty much your one-stop shop communication for just about anything. So if faculty have questions, you're welcome to, at least for me, you're welcome to give my email out to the faculty if they have questions or concerns. Let's see, in order to talk about the demands of specific assignments, if Upswing is a requirement for the assignment. Yeah, so welcome to talk about that with the heroes. Also, there's an area on the Ask Up submission form for students to tell that directly to the tutor. So they can type in a reason and give some more information about the assignment that they're submitting, so that the tutor knows really, what's going on. Students also have the opportunity to send in the prompt with their assignment, to make sure that the tutor is well aware of what they should be looking for when reviewing that assignment. And also to piggyback on the faculty, faculty talking about it with their students directly, presenting it in class, showing them how a session would look. There's a video on the front of every portal page they are welcome to show. That seems to help a little bit as well. And just getting them to encourage their students to use it for bonus points, et cetera, et cetera.
Hey, Crystal, yes, we can design a flyer so you can put into Moodle. Just get with your hero and they will let our engagement team know. And, sorry, I wanted to point out something that Robin said, which is great for everyone to hear as well. Robin said that she goes to classes at the beginning of the semester to promote Upswing to the new students. It's a great idea. That's something that we would love for all admins to do, but we understand that you ladies and fellows are busy.
And it's a great way to promote your own learning center as well. Again, Upswing working in tandem with your learning center, promoting just the fact that students have access to things. Oh yeah, and Kyra hosts a tutor expo every year, so every instructor has the opportunity to bring their classes into the tutoring center to talk to the tutors, talk with Kyra, learn a little bit about tutoring and what their options are, and that's a great idea, and it gets students involved from the get-go.
This is great input and great questions, guys.
Yeah, thank you all. Well, we will keep answering questions as they come up, but I'm going to turn the presentation over to Kelly, one of our senior heroes and our product maven.
I like that. All right. Well, I'm Kelly. I work with product stuff, so I'm going to talk about Upswing products, and I have a bunch of timelines here to kind of show you guys where we started and where we're at now. When I was building this, I was actually really impressed because I've been here for about 2 years, and it's amazing what we've done in 2 years. So Upswing started roughly in 2013, and our first thing was 24/7 live tutoring, so what a lot of you know as Top Up. So that's using Upswing tutors for 24/7 live tutoring with audio, video, and chat. Shortly after that, we added the capability to put your Learning Center tutors onto our platform to make sure that students have access to your school's resources. We know that online learning is a big deal now, and so making sure that students have just the same access as students that come to campus was really important to us. We also built check-ins, which allow students to check into different areas of campus to either show faculty or show the Learning Center, what is available to them as far as tutoring goes, and for other reasons, so that you as administrators can track how students are using the Learning Center. And if they're coming in for homework or for tutoring, or maybe they just they have a study group, it's a great usage for that. The next year we pulled in, we acquired a company called Ask Online, and we wanted to incorporate an asynchronous assignment submission based piece to our platform as well, and that's where Ask Up came into play, with assignment submissions both for your tutors, and now we support it with our tutors as well for writing. Writing Lab was the next thing that came about, which is a collection of videos, content showing students, kind of like a writing boot camp, showing students how to write from the beginning of brainstorming all the way through citations. Next came Advise Up a year later. This was to really kind of do a full circle of making sure that students were covered from a complete retention point. We want to make sure academically that they're doing well, but we know that there's more than just academics when it comes to student retention, and that's where an advisor can come in. They can help academically, but also, with those things that a tutor may not be able to help with, whether it's financial or personal issues. And to build off of that, this year we are in the beta testing phase with one of our schools for our early alerts piece. It basically shows if a student is having trouble with something or is struggling or maybe a good thing, it just is a way to kind of notate, show everyone, that is concerned, like advisors or maybe tutors, that a student is struggling in something and may need some extra help. So that's kind of our product breakdown over the years. This slide is about our product improvements specifically. So starting in 2013, there was a lot of back-end things that kind of changed over the next year and a half. We built a brand new portal face. The way that students were able to sign in was made a lot easier with the single sign-on. We also created the admin dashboard that you guys use frequently and daily. That actually didn't exist to begin with, but we created that just for you to make sure that you had easy access to all of the data and analytics that we present to you, as well as that you need to prove that your learning center is awesome. We also did a messaging map. Some of the messaging wasn't quite as great as we wanted it to be, so we modernized it functionally and made sure that it was a little bit better. Another thing that we also did was multi-user roles. This is something that actually one of our partners requested. UNT specifically requested having multiple user roles so that they weren't having to have multiple sign-ins just to get to a different type of portal. So, we have the admin, student, coach roles that you guys are able to use now, so you don't have to have 3 different email addresses to log in to get to each of those. The next thing was session limiting. This was something that South Texas College brought to our attention, being able to, at certain times of the year, maybe students go a little heavy-handed with requesting tutoring sessions, especially with Upswing tutors. So we created the ability for you as an admin to put in a limit to how many hours a student could study. We all know that sometimes there's students that really panic over exams and don't trust themselves, and this is kind of to help them trust themselves as well. Later on in 2016, we did a portal redesign. That's kind of the new portal that you see now with all of the hexagons, showing students, how to meet with a tutor, things like that. Cohort tracking, those are the groups. I'm not sure if many of you know about those, but basically on the platform, you're able to make groups of different students and put them together. So if you have a baseball team, if you have a group of trio students, whoever you have, you can actually track those all separately and pull statistics for them separately within the platform. One of the big things that we did in the past couple of years was the availability revamp. The way that availability used to be was very different from the way it looks now. Students are now able to actually search based on their own availability as opposed to just searching by tutor. It allows students to kind of be a little bit more flexible with finding a tutor that they can work with well and works with their availability. We know a lot of students at your schools have jobs and families and maybe aren't able to just willy-nilly take a tutoring session at any point in time. So this new availability really provides them that opportunity. And then this year, a couple of things that we did. Domain messages, those are the messages that you can customize and put on your portal face. These were requested specifically by KPU and Houston Community College. They were really excited to have this because it allows them to customize any turnaround times for those paper submissions that they use with their own tutors. It allows you guys to also be able to make announcements about your learning center or anything that could be going on to help students out. Or if the college is going to be closed, notifying students that Upswing is still available or tutors are still available through Upswing, even if it's a snow day, something like that. Last but not least, our new VLC. VLC stands for Virtual Learning Center or Virtual Learning Room, which is some of us refer to as the whiteboard. We are building and have just started testing and should have out shortly to you guys a brand new VLC. Alicia showed a quick mock-up of it. It's a lot more intuitive for students. The buttons are much bigger and a lot better labeled. It's built on a completely different platform as well. It's HTML5, which means that all of the audio and video problems that you guys have been seeing should be a thing of the past. And also HTML5 works with iOS. So it's compatible with iPads and iPhones and things like that. So that's great to kind of open that opportunity for students. And it'll be a lot easier and more intuitive for them to learn to use. Last slide is our kind of projected things that we're going to be working on. So as you can see in the beginning, the early alerts in VLC in the early part of this year is what we're working on. In development right now is an ANA dashboard for the ANA program, which is the text messaging based platform to get students involved more with not only with tutoring and their academics, but also with their entire college experience. So this will allow you guys as admins to be able to track all of that and manage it yourselves. Tutor Management Center calendar. This is kind of a daily or weekly view of what tutors are available at what times and when they're already scheduled. That's something that we've just started developing. I know I'm working with some of you to go through some of the mock-ups for that and make sure that this is exactly what you guys are looking for and what you need. So look for that coming soon. And eventually we'll also be doing some submission limiting. The same thing as the session limiting, kind of tempering some students who maybe would submit too many papers at a time and being able to limit that, maybe at the end of the year, things are kind of getting a little hectic and you want to be able to kind of limit that. We're going to do that. In the coming 2 years, all of this, by the way, is subject to change based on what you as administrators and as our partners are feeling is the most important thing for you to have, as well as development bandwidth and things like that. But this is kind of our general projection of what we're hoping to get done in the next couple of years, and especially based on what you as our partners have requested from us and let us know is really important to you. So text notifications, opening those up to more than just an hour beforehand, getting a reminder, but really making this a robust system of reminders. We know a lot of students are attached to their phones and a lot of coaches also are a lot more mobile based. So kind of increasing the number of text messages that are available to them to subscribe to. Enrollment data integration, we'd love to be able to show to students what classes they are actually enrolled in on their own platform, so it makes it even easier for them to get tutoring. An Ask Up dashboard for those of you that use Ask Up with your own tutors or even with our tutors, hoping to build out a dashboard much like the one for Tutor Up with statistics and the history of sessions and things on there for you guys to be able to access easily. We'll also be doing some design improvements over the next few years to modernize the platform and make it a little bit more streamlined for you. Even farther in the future, we are hoping to revamp the admin dashboard, again, with new statistics and things like that. Coach management dashboard, we're working on that, especially internally, so that Naomi and her team are able to provide even better service when it comes to our coaches. Eventually, hopefully, maybe working with some of you guys on bringing that to your own learning centers. Messaging updates and improvements. So the messaging within the platform, we would love to fill that out a little bit more, flesh it out, and make it a bit more conducive to discussing with your own, amongst your own tutors. And also group study sessions, allowing students to schedule their own studying through Upswing, allowing them to be a little bit more autonomous in their study choices. So I know there's a lot of information. I know we've got a lot of questions. let's see, if a student submits a paper to the new whiteboard, will a static image or a live document? It'll be a static image just like it currently is. We want to make sure that you all know that we never edit papers directly, and we never want that opportunity to present itself. So everything is going to be static. Students will still be able to take pictures and PDFs of the whiteboard to show all of the work that was done on that paper, and present it to you as an admin or to the instructors. Yeah, so definitely a static image. Upswing is available to students who need accessibility accommodations. Yes, because we have the video, audio, and chat capabilities. We are ADA compliant. There is a sheet on our homepage that you can look at about our ADA compliance as well. It's a great question. Let's see.
And then Lynn, I know you had a question, but I think Naomi can answer that for you.
Oh yeah, I was wondering if Burr is on our chat, if he was going to type out. Oh,
There he goes.
So yeah, Lynn, if you are interested, Berth is happy to hop on calls that you have with your heroes to kind of discuss what you would like and kind of personalize it to your needs. And also to answer Derek's question, I haven't read any Malcolm Gladwell books, but he keeps popping up in all of the need to read books, so maybe I will.
Are you planning on creating an Upswing app? We are not planning on it at this time, but it may be something that we would do in the future. We are mobile friendly, and with the new VLC, we're hoping to provide students with more opportunities of ways to connect with the platform that aren't just on a direct computer. Any other questions about product or anything else for that matter? Okay, awesome. So please feel free.
I'll make sure to check that out.
If you guys still have questions, feel free to type them out. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our partner speakers. We've asked a few folks that use our platform in various different ways to kind of talk about their process, what brought them to Upswing, how they use Upswing, but also just kind of how they do tutoring in their own learning centers in and of themselves. And we'd love to open the floor for you guys to ask them questions, kind of pick their brains about how they use the platform and how they handle tutoring and student success in general. So our first one is Deborah Hardwick from Houston Community College. Houston Community College uses AskUp, which is our asynchronous tutoring platform, piece of the platform. They use that exclusively, so all of their tutoring is done asynchronously. And I will let Deborah tell you more information about that.
Hey, Jesus. All right. You are here. Perfect. Okay, can you guys hear Jesus better now?
Hello, everything good?
Let us know if you can hear Jesus.
Will you talk again, Jesus? Okay, that is better. Yes. All right, go for it, Jesus.
Okay.
Sorry, will you start?
Okay, where was I?
Okay, yeah, just start from the beginning.
Okay. I was mentioning that we use it mostly for our English instructors, specifically one who really enjoys having her students submit to Upswing towards the beginning of the week or the beginning of the lesson when they first start their essays, and then have them work on it throughout the week, and then sort of do a comparison between what the original essay looked like compared to the revisions that the Upswing coach had suggested, and then the final revised copy that the student will turn in. And so she pretty much keeps sort of a folder or a file of all three for each one of her students. and she really encourages the students to use the Upswing. I've done several orientations to several of her classes, and it's one of the things she does is she really pushes for the essay submission.
Well, thank you, Jesus. So you guys
I
can.
think she actually encourages it even more than having the students come into the actual learning center to get tutored. She's like, no, just submit it, send it, and then just use that one. And then one more thing that we're going to be I'm going to be doing next week is we have our summer bridge program that just started, and so I'm going to be presenting Upswing to them.
And if you guys have any questions for Jesus, the products that they have are Upswing Tutors with the paper submissions for Upswing Tutors. And then they also have TutorUp. So they do have their tutors on the platform as well.
Yes.
Any particular questions?
I know we've had a lot of questions about engagement. Students, you know, how schools are able to get their faculty and their students engaged with their own tutors at their learning center, as well as Upswing tutors. Maybe there's something, Jesus, that you could talk about when it comes to getting students and faculty engaged.
I know for students, one incentive was that they're able to set their own appointments. That's something that I really strongly push with them, particularly around midterms and finals when it just starts getting very busy. And, you know, normally the learning center is first come, first serve, but if they have their own appointment, well, then they know that they get the priority with that. In regards to engaging with faculty, one of the things that I like to do is, since we don't always have we really only have one or two history tutors. So for the history faculty, I encourage them to use Upswing, where they will have more history tutors available to their students. And the same thing for biology and any subjects where we might not have a specific tutor. We don't have a chemistry tutor as well. So we encourage them to use Upswing.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That's really helpful. I know a lot of our schools are trying to find new and creative ways, so that's very helpful. Thanks. Okay, Deborah, thank you so much. We really appreciate having you, and I apologize for all the audio issues. But yeah, we'll send out what Deborah had to say, and if you guys do have any questions, we'd be happy to send them over to Deborah so she can talk about them. Yeah. Any questions for Jesus, or how they use the platform, or how they manage their tutors, or you know, how they view student success in their school, or anything like that?
Well, all righty. Jesus, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to hang up now, and then let's see. Oh, we got one right here. Jesus, for you, it says, when did you start having students make their own appointments?
I know we sort of did the pilot program with Upswing starting last fall semester. So essentially, they started this semester, this past spring semester, around January. But I know that even during the pilot, there were some who were already starting to take advantage of setting up their appointments.
That's a great question.
Reyes mentioned that they are piloting this summer, which they're TSC, so right next door to you, Jesus. So he was just wondering how long it took the students to settle in. Do you kind of have a time frame of when the students picked up Upswing and started scheduling appointments?
I think it was that first semester was probably the most I don't want to say troublesome, because it wasn't troublesome, but it was really that semester that really took them a while to settle in and just get used to using it, because we had done away with smart thinking, so they had to get used to this new program. but once they settled in, they knew where to go and they knew how to take care of it. And the way we market it is, the way I market it at least, is directly through the faculty. I engage with the faculty and I let them know we have this program, and I will go into their classrooms and do orientations for their students and pretty much walk them through how to manage it, how to play around with all the different features.
Awesome, thank you. And that is, just to piggyback off of what Jesus said, faculty outreach is the most effective way that we will be able to get the students to know about Upswing. Of course, we have our awesome engagement team, but we can only do so little at a time. I love to say, teamwork makes the dream work. So if everyone's on board, and even if we need to answer any questions from the faculty, we're here to do that. We're here to go talk to your faculty, host a webinar to as well. So right now we're trying to get Catherine on the line. So we are giving her a call. Jesus, if there are any other questions for Mr. Jesus, and Jesus, do you see the chat box as well?
Yes.
Perfect. So if any other questions pop up, just feel free to answer through there.
Sure.
All righty. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, everyone, I'd like to introduce you to Catherine Leroy. She's from Samuel Merritt. I asked her to participate on the call because they use Tutor Up, and they use it in some sort of unique ways, and where we see a lot of schools struggling with finding tutors for advanced subjects, they've really been excelling and having great usage with their tutors via Tutor Up. So, Catherine, thanks for joining. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great. First of all, it's Samuel Merritt University, not community college. Just to have that.
Sorry.
So sorry.
It's okay. We're a health science university. Everything from a bachelor's in nursing through master's, doctorate, all the way up to physical therapy, occupational therapy, podiatry. We have about 12 different distinct programs. So as you can imagine, the content is quite advanced, depending on the subject. We have robust tutoring teams for all of our programs, and we have anywhere from, say, 15 to, depending on the time, 15 to maybe 30 to 40 tutors for each program, and again, varying availability depending, because they're students as well, obviously. We do not have a learning center, so Upswing has been integral in sort of a self-managed system. So we use TutorUp as a messaging system for QTs to find tutors, obviously for reporting purposes. But what I like to say is when I get a tutor request from a student, I send them to Upswing, and 98% of the time I don't hear from them again in a good way. Like they're able to find a tutor, and it's completely self-managed. Tutors set their own schedules. And they match themselves. So when a student needs help, they fill out a form first. And the reason I don't send them directly to Upswing is I like a little bit of quality control. Maybe they need coaching, maybe they're in crisis. But most of the time I send them to Upswing, and again, it just goes from there. Some of the ways we've used it, we've used Upswing additionally in the sense that we don't have a learning center, is that we encourage tutors to really personalize their profiles and put a lot of information in it. I've hired for every program what I call a tutor coordinator. So there's one person for every program who's like a lead tutor who sort of helps me manage the other tutors on the ground, and they help organize group sessions. They troubleshoot with students who are having difficulty maybe finding a tutor, although that rarely happens. They help me recruit tutors, and that's been a new process for the last year, and that's been really, really helpful to have that go-to person, because I always like to say I can talk myself blue, but when students hear from other students, it's really powerful. So these tutor coordinators, in addition to myself, but these tutor coordinators in the beginning of each term will go into, especially first year cohort classes, especially the high need classes, and they'll make announcements and they'll talk about tutoring, really trying to reduce the stigma. And they are also on the ground to connect with faculty and inform faculty. Again, they do everything that I also do, but it's really powerful in that they're students. And in terms of recruitment, I use the tutor coordinators to really cheerlead the program. One of the things we really have to tell tutors, because their programs are so intense, is that it's flexible. I let them know that they can drop out for a week at a time if their schedules get crazy. And then what's wonderful about Upswing is if their schedule is crazy, they take down their schedules, and so their need doesn't show up, and so they can self-manage their availability. I also write to faculty at the end of each term from the high need courses, and then I get recommendations for tutors that way, and then I reach out to them directly to recruit them. So I don't know if there's specific questions above and beyond that. I don't know if I can see.
I'll read them to you if they come
Okay,
through.
great.
Does anybody have a question? And Catherine, I think the idea of the tutor coordinators on campus is amazing, and it sounds like, you know, it's really helpful for in growing the success that you guys have had with the system.
Yeah, and I want to say, you know, I am not allowed diplomatically to get on students' Facebook pages for the cohorts. You know, I wouldn't dream of doing it, but the tutor coordinators can jump on any Facebook page, and that's also been a really huge way, the social media to, you know, get the word out, you know, because they don't read their emails. Get email blasts, but they don't read it. One other additional thing I'll say that has been really great is we've been expanding to non-content areas of support. So we have tutors who can support stress management, like best practices, or technology, like troubleshooting our LMS, or, you know, troubleshooting, like taking online notes. So we have developed in our Upswing course list not only the course numbers, but also, again, things like stress management, technology, like one-off things like Math for Meds, or just basic board exam review sessions. So that's been really helpful too.
Wonderful. Well, no questions have come through yet.
Okay,
So last chance to fire a question at Catherine.
Or a question for anyone or anything. We wanted to make this as interactive as possible for y'all, just so you had an opportunity to connect with other partners. While we're waiting for questions for Catherine, okay.
So
Yeah.
Catherine, a question for you is, do you put your stress management on Upswing yourself?
Meaning, no, I write to my contacts at Upswing, and they'll create any quote unquote skill, their courses. And so they add it in. I don't think I'm able to as an admin.
Yeah, so Robin, you can reach out to your hero and we can help you add any subjects that you need added.
That's a great question.
Well, Catherine, thank you so much. That was really informative.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you participating.
Thank you.
Well,
Thanks so much.
Okay, well, I am going to hang up unless you want to just stay on the speaker so you don't have to dial back in.
No, that's fine. I'll go through my computer. Thanks.
All right, thanks again. Bye.
All right, thank you very much to our speakers. We really appreciate you guys being on here. We'll keep the chat open for some more questions. You guys are welcome to talk amongst yourselves as well. Something else I wanted to just point out and put a small plug in for is, if you haven't already logged in or signed up or checked it out, we do have a partner Slack channel. We'll send out the invitation for that at the end of the call as well, along with the copy of the recording for this, in case you want to review it and hear everyone's wonderful voices again. But basically, the partner Slack channel is a way for you guys to connect with each other as well as your heroes. I know for product, every 2 weeks I put in a product update after I come back from our tech meetings and talk with our tech and product teams about what we're going to be building next in the next few weeks. And I keep you guys updated on feature requests, any bug problems that are occurring, and when those are getting fixed. And we really want to encourage you all to use that space to talk to each other. So if one of the presenters you heard today, you had a private question for, you can message people privately. There's also boards on there that you can talk with each other if you're struggling to interact with faculty, put a question on there about, hey, our faculty are, really resistant to bringing their students into the Learning Center. How have you encouraged it? Anything like that you want to kind of post to other admins like yourselves. We don't even have to be a part of the conversation. It can just be amongst you guys. We want to make sure that you all are a resource for each other as well. So please join the Slack community. We're really excited to have that built for y'all, as well as a communication method for us to get to talk to all of you at once in a quick and easy way. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah, thank you all guys for participating, and we will all speak to you. Have a great summer. Thanks, Robin.
Thanks, Derek.
We will talk to you guys as well about report cards that you guys should have received either late last week or earlier this week. But all right, guys, you guys stay cool out there.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.